So there are a lot of things that Hasbro can learn from the MCU in terms of like Deadpool and Wolverine being the #1 movie in the world after almost surpassing $1 million in the box office during its opening weekend. It went from 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, 500, 600, and now they're at $700 million right now. So if Deadpool and Wolverine can be that successful in the box office, what does that mean for the Power Rangers reboot, the TV show? I think at some point, what you can do is start as a movie, like Deadpool and Wolverine, but with the money being thrown in it. You don't always have to have a cheap looking budget all the time when it comes to like smaller projects like the the small screen. I mean, we all know that TV shows are cheap, some are low budget, but with great success, and others have greater success with money being thrown in it. The only way that this reboot can just get off the ground is to have money being put into this project. Because let's face it, Hasbro has been taking a huge L lately in terms of giving up on a Lightning collection, and as far as like the TV shows and the entertainment stuff, they are just being quiet right now. Unless they're doing something secretly behind our backs. But I don't want to say that. But it's possible they might be cooking on something privately that we don't know about. But I think I want to talk about what Jinzaku just said a while back about Netflix and Hasbro walking away from each other because of them wanting to do a reboot, but with the lower budget. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with Hasbro is that they promised Netflix a reboot, but they gave us Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury once and always. Yes, those specials and TV shows were great. It did its numbers, it did its job, it did exactly what it needed to do. That was last year, but we're talking about now. And so the reason why they wanted to reboot MVPR is because they wanted to go on a cheaper budget, like how it was back in the day, but set in modern times. And the show being aimed towards kids, that is the worst thing that you can do. 33 or 32 years later, we're still doing with the cheap nonsense. It's basically time for them to actually change. And I think that's exactly what Hasbro can do. If they have the money, they are a $1 billion company, a $1 billion franchise. Like, why can't they just use some of that money, put into the reboot, and just go ham on it? That is the only way that the fans could just be interesting in Power Rangers again. And I think if they learned that from Deadpool and Wolverine when it comes to its budgets and the box office records, I think chances are this Power Rangers reboot might become successful if done right. Just throw money into that show with the weapons and the costumes and whatnot, because at this point, they are in the middle of a relaunch of Power Rangers. That's why they're selling off the auctions of Once and Always and Cosmic. Well, yeah, Once and Always and stuff. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. So the second thing they can learn from the MCU is have the actors perform their own stunts. And I know Deadpool and Wolverine didn't really have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in costumes doing their own stunts. It's all stunt doubles, it's all the stunt coordinators and the fight choreographers of what they do on TV shows and films. And I think that's what the Power Rangers reboot could do is hire actors with great acting experience and martial arts backgrounds, whether it's dance, gymnastics, martial arts, bring them on a TV show and build them up to become success. Just like you did in the 1990s, for that matter. And I think that's the one thing they should also do as well. Have the fight scenes be more edgier, more violent, like it was Once and Always in the first and second original pilot, before the official airing version of the show that came out 31 years ago today. So I think at some point that's the best thing that you can do is have the actors perform their own stunts without getting injured. And I think that's probably the best thing that you can do. The third thing that the reboot can do and learn from Deadpool and Wolverine is have the CGI look good. Whether it's in, you know, CGI, a guy in a costume, going back to using the puppets for the movie and TV show, but have it modernize it just right. Bring on the sparks, be a little bit more violent, and stop being afraid of taking risk. Because when you think about it, Playmates Toys is going to end up doing the MPR toys in 2025 and create a new collection line for the Power Rangers, not just for the kids, but for adults as well. And I think if you learn from Deadpool and Wolverine, I think this franchise and the future of Power Rangers is going to look bright if you're at the hands of the right people with Playmates Toys. Even though Hasbro has done some good stuff throughout the years, but I think it's safe to say that they just took the biggest L at the end of the day. So these are just something that I think what Hasbro and Playmates Toys can learn from the MCU. So what are your thoughts on what do you think they should learn from those companies? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.